Urban Meyer had over 30 arrests when he was at Florida. He was actively putting kids in the room with people of poor character in order to try to win games. That's not very fatherly.
Hey, Urban Meyer story, big deal, little deal, or no deal?
I think it is instructive of who he is. And so, understandably, if you've got personal ties to somebody, he puts on a really good facade. Full disclosure, I have never liked Urban Meyer for 1 second. And until I sat down to really think about it, I could not tell you why. Couldn't put my finger on it. And then as the story came up, it hit me. A head football coach is supposed to be a father figure, okay? Especially in football. As you know, the makeup of our country, a lot of guys don't have dads to begin with, or at least don't know their dads. 75% of black kids, 28% of white kids grow up in a single family, single parent home. Okay. The makeup of the college football roster is nearly 50-50. So it's about 47% black kids. That means when we break down the math and all that, about 50% of the kids that would come in a college football locker room do not have a dad in the picture. That's even higher once you get into the NFL. And make no mistake, a lot of these kids in the NFL are just that. They're kids coming in at 21 years old. So you know that kids are always looking for the alpha male in the room, especially if they don't have one at home. Urban Meyer is supposed to be that guy. He's the CEO of the Jaguars. He's the CEO of what is, a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And you say, okay, well, I don't know what he's teaching these kids. They're not all kids, but a lot of them sure are. But there's that old saying, more is caught than taught. You can look at what is caught. I'm catching it here without being in the room. It's like any dad, certainly my dad and good dads would say, hey, listen, surround yourself with the right people. That's that old saying, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you'll be in 5 years. Urban Meyer had over 30 arrests when he was at Florida. He was actively putting kids in the room with people of poor character in order to try to win games. That's not very fatherly. You say, what is another thing a dad would teach you? Well, treat women with respect. Meanwhile, he's covering up alleged domestic abuse for the coach at Ohio State. Not very fatherly. Your dad should have some integrity. Okay, well, why then do we catch you on camera at a bar with a young girl grinding up on you, stepping out on your wife, and then that same game, you don't get on the plane after you lose because it's not really up to you. And of course, the last one would be, you always take responsibility. You are in charge of the family. And then you hold a meeting, maybe out of context, don't know, that says, hey, I'm a winner. I'm not the problem. I win everywhere I go. You guys are all losers. So you need to explain to me why you guys belong here. I don't know what's being taught, but I can tell you what's being caught. And that to me is a disgrace because there are very few positions in life where you get the privilege of shepherding young men. And college football coach is number one. I can name all the coaches that I had. My high school football coach, Paul Day, I still am in contact with him. When I was in high school, my dad was on a work trip. We had a combine to go to. He got in the truck, said, let's go, and drove me into Kansas City to William Jewell for a combine. He didn't have anything to gain from that. I was a kid who wanted to get recruited, and he said, let's go. Got in his truck, and we left. Gary Pinkel took care of us. He was a man. Belichick, I was there for a very short time. He was a teacher. He was trying to teach us about life. This was not a facade. Coaches should be father figures. They should be the guys that are teaching you legitimate life lessons about how to succeed. Urban Meyer somehow has pulled the tarp over everybody's head here. Ohio State, even after covering up the domestic assault with one of his assistant coaches, they brought him back to teach a class about leadership and character. I don't know why people can't see through this, but to me, he's as big of a disgrace as a coach that we've ever seen in my lifetime.
I'm not going to add anything to that. I'm just going to move on. TJ, great job. I'm going to have to marinate on those Urban Meyer thoughts.